Most parents use punishment with one simple intention: to teach their child right from wrong. It comes from love, concern, and a deep desire to raise a child who grows into a kind, responsible, and capable adult. When a child hits, refuses to listen, throws a tantrum, or crosses a boundary, punishment often feels like the fastest and most familiar response. It's what many parents experience growing up, what society normalizes, and what feels logical in moments of stress. But what punishment actually does inside a child's brain is very different from what most parents imagine. And understanding this difference can completely change how we see discipline, behavior, and emotional growth. A child's brain is not a smaller version of an adult brain. It is unfinished, under construction, and deeply shaped by emotional experiences. The parts of the brain responsible for reasoning, impulse control, and understanding consequences are still developing well into the teenage years. When adults expect children to behave rationally under stress, they are unknowingly asking a brain to do something it is not yet capable of doing. This gap between expectation and ability is where punishment often enters, but it's also where misunderstandings about brain development begin. When punishment is used, the child's brain does not primarily process the lesson the parent hopes to teach. Instead, the brain first responds to the emotional experience of the moment. A raised voice, isolation, withdrawal of love, physical punishment, or harsh consequences activate the child's stress response system. The brain shifts into survival mode. In this state, learning does not deepen, reflection does not happen. The brain's priority becomes safety, not understanding. Inside the brain, this stress response involves the release of cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals are not inherently bad. They are designed to help humans respond to danger. But when they are activated frequently in relational situations, especially with caregivers, they begin to shape how the brain interprets connection, authority, and emotional safety. Instead of learning why a behavior was wrong, the child's brain often learns something else entirely: how to avoid getting caught, how to suppress feelings, or how to disconnect from the experience. Many parents believe punishment teaches discipline. What it often teaches instead is fear-based compliance. The child may stop the behavior in the moment, which creates the illusion that punishment is effective. But internally, the brain has not learned self-regulation. It has learned to react. True discipline comes from the ability to pause, reflect, and choose differently next time. That ability grows through co-regulation and guidance, not through fear. Another effect punishment has on the brain is how it shapes emotional processing. Children learn about emotions by experiencing them with support. When a child feels anger, frustration, or sadness, and those emotions are met with punishment, the brain learns that these feelings are dangerous or unacceptable. Over time, this can lead to emotional suppression rather than emotional understanding. Suppressed emotions do not disappear. They find other ways to emerge, often through anxiety, aggression, or withdrawal later in life. Punishment also affects how the brain associates relationships. When the same person who provides safety and comfort also becomes the source of fear or humiliation, the brain experiences confusion. This doesn't mean the child stops loving the parent. It means the brain learns to stay alert even in close relationships. This heightened vigilance can shape attachment patterns, making it harder for the child to fully relax, trust, or express vulnerability. One of the most misunderstood aspects of punishment is its effect on moral development. Parents often assume that punishment teaches right and wrong. In reality, it often teaches power dynamics. The brain learns that behavior is controlled by external force rather than internal values. This can delay the development of empathy and intrinsic motivation. A child who behaves well only when watched has not internalized the lesson. They have learned compliance, not character. It's also important to understand that young children lack the neurological capacity to connect punishment with future outcomes in the way adults expect. When a toddler is punished for hitting, their brain is not thinking, "I shouldn't hit because it hurts others," it is thinking this situation feels overwhelming. The lesson parents hope will stick often gets lost because the brain is too busy managing stress to process logic. None of this means children should have no boundaries. Boundaries are essential for brain development. The difference lies in how boundaries are communicated and enforced. A calm, consistent boundary helps the brain feel safe and organized. A harsh or unpredictable punishment activates fear and confusion. The brain thrives on predictability, connection, and repair, not intimidation. Another subtle impact of punishment is how it influences a child's sense of self. When behavior is consistently met with labels like bad, naughty, or disrespectful, the brain begins to internalize these messages. Over time, children may stop seeing their behavior as something they did and start seeing it as who they are. This shift can affect confidence, self-worth, and motivation long after the behavior itself has passed. Many parents worry that without punishment, children will grow spoiled or out of control. This fear is understandable, especially in cultures where strict discipline is seen as necessary for respect. But neuroscience shows that children develop self-control not by being controlled, but by being guided. The brain learns regulation through repeated experiences of being calmed, understood, and redirected. These experiences build neural pathways that support impulse control over time. It's also important to recognize the role of parental stress. When adults are overwhelmed, tired, or unsupported, punishment can feel like the only option. This does not make parents bad. It makes them human. The brain under stress seeks quick solutions. Understanding what punishment does to a child's brain is not about judging parents. It's about giving them better tools that work with the brain instead of against it. What supports brain development more than punishment is connection paired with limits. When a child misbehaves, the most powerful teaching moment happens after the emotional storm has passed. This is when the brain is calm enough to reflect and learn. Talking through what happened, naming emotions, and practicing alternative behaviors build neural pathways that punishment never touches. Repair is another critical piece. When a parent loses patience and reacts harshly, the brain does not benefit from pretending it didn't happen. A simple repair, like acknowledging the moment and reconnecting, teaches the brain that relationships can recover from conflict. This lesson is far more valuable than any punishment. Over time, children who experience guidance instead of punishment tend to develop stronger emotional intelligence. Their brains learn how to recognize feelings, manage impulses, and consider the impact of their actions on others. These skills do not appear overnight. They grow slowly through thousands of small interactions that prioritize understanding over control. It's also worth noting that every child's brain is different. Temperament, sensitivity, and developmental stage all influence behavior. What looks like defiance is often a sign of overwhelm, fatigue, hunger, or unmet needs. When punishment is used without understanding the underlying cause, the brain misses an opportunity to learn self-awareness and problem-solving. Parents often ask what to do instead of punishment. The answer is not permissiveness. It is presence. Clear boundaries delivered with calm consistency. Redirection instead of reaction. Teaching instead of threatening. These approaches take more patience in the moment, but they build stronger brains over time. Perhaps the most important thing to understand is that it's never too late to change. The brain is plastic. It continues to grow and adapt throughout childhood. Even if punishment has been used in the past, shifting toward connection and understanding can reshape neural pathways. Children don't need perfect parents. They need responsive ones. If you've ever punished your child and later felt regret, that feeling doesn't mean you failed. It means your instincts are aligned with what the brain needs. Awareness is not an accusation. It's an opportunity. The goal is not to remove all consequences, but to choose consequences that teach rather than frighten. When parents understand what punishment really does to the brain, many feel relief rather than guilt. Relief that they don't need to rely on fear to raise good humans. Relief that guidance, connection, and patience are not weaknesses, but strengths supported by science. relief that everyday moments matter more than dramatic discipline strategies. Your child's brain is learning from you all the time, not just when things go wrong. It's learning how to handle stress, how to treat others, and how to see themselves in the world. Every calm boundary, every moment of repair, and every effort to understand sends a powerful message to the brain. You are safe, you are capable, and you are learning. So if you're questioning punishment, you're not alone, and you're not wrong. You're simply paying attention. And that awareness, more than any rule or consequence, is what helps a child's brain grow in healthy, lasting ways. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get it right every time. What matters most is the direction you're moving in. Each moment you choose understanding over fear, you're not just managing behavior. You're shaping a brain, a nervous system, and a future adult who knows how to regulate, connect, and grow. And that is something no punishment could ever teach.